Hello there, guys. Welcome back to another episode of E&Ftv. Today we are joined by Rocco Bova, who is General Manager at Chable Yucatan. Rocco, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Thomas. I'm delighted to be on the show today, and thank you for the invitation. Greeting from Mexico. I'm actually based in Yucatan state, which is in the peninsula of Yucatan, one of the 3 states of peninsula of Yucatan. And that's where I manage Chable. Behind me, actually, you can see a digital image only, but This is exactly how one of our villa looks like, all of them with private villas.
It's absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. A little bit better from where I am in my living room right now, but it's absolutely lovely. And I was saying to you just a moment ago that it's going to be a nice change to have somebody like yourself from the region that you're in on the show. So yeah, thank you so much for taking the time out to join us today. Basically, what we usually start with, Rocco, is it's just a bit about yourself, understanding a bit about your background and I suppose what drew you to the hospitality industry, and I suppose what you're currently doing at the moment.
Sure. Well, I think I fell in love with hospitality when I was very young, and I mean really young. When I was a young boy, I would see my family, my parents in particular, you know, the way they would welcome friends or family in our home. And I could see even strangers. They would open door to any stranger and say, you know, come in, you know, just have a seat, have a glass of water. You know, for me, that is the most genuine way to show hospitality to anybody. And growing up in this kind of environment obviously makes a mark in your life, you know, as you get more into young adulthood or even older. Yeah. And at the age of 13, I started to look for a summer job, you know, in between school holidays. Looking for a job, you know, as a young man, you know, young boy, you know, just to earn some pocket money. And I got my very first job at the age of 13 in a bar in my hometown. The owners was very kind to give me the opportunity, but unfortunately I was very bad. I broke so many glasses, you know, glasses of wine or glasses of beers, in bottles of beers. I mean, so much damage in 3 days. After the third day, the owner, Francesco, he called me and he said to me, Rocco, come here. He opened the till. Those days there were a till. He opened the till and he said, how many days you worked? And I told him 3 days. So he took the pay for 3 days and he said, this is your 3 days pay. Thank you very much. You're a very nice guy, but you cost me a lot more than what I'm paying you. So I'm really sorry, but we need to terminate our relationship. When you learn how to hold the tray, come back. Yeah. And I went home a little bit sad, but then I said, you know, I can make this. You know, it's not so difficult. It is possible. So I left home a little bit sad, but motivated more to be able to succeed on my next job. So, you know, the next summer, you know, during this period, in the meantime, I started to train to all the beers in my hands, you know, with a piece of wood. You know, I didn't really have a tray in my house. But then I started to learn, and then the following year I got a job somewhere, and then the year after I got another job in another restaurant, and my reputation began to be, you know, kind of famous in my hometown, and people started to call me. About 10 years after the first job with this Francesco, I actually worked under him once again. Right. And you know, for me still is one of the people that really gave me the push the first time, but also gave me the opportunity. And then when I went to London about 22 years ago, you know, that's when exactly, you know, my life completely changed. I learned a new language. I went to hotel school in London, graduated. And then I started my career internationally, working from Dubai to Singapore, Malaysia, India, Mauritius, the Caribbean, and now since the past 4 years in Mexico, managing Chable Yucatan.
Fantastic. And I suppose what's it like over there right now in terms of what's going on in terms of COVID and the sort of situation, I suppose, in general? I mean, what are you seeing over there right now?
Well, believe it or not, actually borders in Mexico had never been closed. We were all the time open. There are no flights, or there are lesser flights. You know, flights are starting to come back now, slowly, particularly in Cancun, Los Cabos, you know, the major big hubs, you know, Mexico City. But still, you know, there's still a long way to get back to normal volume of business as we used to have last year. As far as we are concerned as a Chable, we have two hotels. We have Chable Maroma in Riviera Maya, south of Cancun, and then we have Chable Yucatan, where I'm based. So both hotels are doing quite well, honestly, are doing, you know, they're having quite healthy occupancy. And in terms of my hotel in particular, this month, we're already about 60% better than last year in terms of occupancy. So we are very privileged and very blessed also with this kind of news, because, you know, if you would ask me this 3 or 4 months ago when we opened, we stayed closed for 2 months. So we reopened on the 8th of June. And since then, the first month was terrible, so very low occupancy. But the second month, we saw doubling occupancy in the third month, and then now we're getting into the fourth month, and we are seeing definitely greater interest from Mexican at the moment, traveling to resort, which are very similar to ours. You know, small. We only have 40 villas. We're in the middle of the jungle. We have huge gardens, huge open areas. You know, every villa has their own swimming pool. Guests can ask for room service. If they don't want, they don't need to leave the resort, the room or the resort. Both. Either way, they can stay here. We have a golf course in house. We have a huge spa, beautiful gardens. You know, guests can go walking, biking. We have about 50 acres of developed land and another 700 acres of pure jungle. Wow. So we are very safe here. You know, if people are looking for heaven, welcome to Chable Yucatan.
Love it. Now, it really sort of, I suppose, hot topic at the moment, and something that a lot of people are talking about at the moment is sort of the wellness, sort of well-being of ourselves, of our employees, of our staff, and everything else. I mean, what's been helping you, or what's helped you sort of maintain that during this period of time?
Sure. I mean, I'm very lucky also to work in a wellness resort. You know, when I came to Yucatan 4 years ago, and I met with the owners, they introduced me the concept of their hotel, which was relatively new to me. You know, my background is generally, you know, the more generic hotels, beautiful, you know, very, you know, wonderful brands, but generally their wellness program is more traditional, where you have a great spa, you have a very good gym, you get a good massage. But for the Mexican, and particularly the concept of this hotel, where we are based in the cradle of the Maya civilization in Yucatan, the owners decided to focus their wellness program on the Maya culture. And the Maya people, they actually had two things mainly in their life as beliefs. One, respect for nature, mm-hmm. And second, understanding that they are so small after all. You know, they're just very, very small people, you know, if we put ourselves in a bigger context. Mm-hmm. And by having these two principles, one will make you very humble, and the second will make you understand the power of nature that, you know, can give us. You know, nature provides us with everything that we need. Water, food, shelter, anything is there. But if we don't take care of nature, then of course nature will take revenge. And that's exactly what's happening at the moment. So we didn't take care of nature for so many years. We've just been greedy, and when we always want more, and then that's what we have now, you see? So it's a very simple philosophy of life, yet very powerful. Mm-hmm. And I will not lie to you that the first couple of weeks when we decided to close down the resort, because obviously the government ruled that any non-essential business has to shut down until further notice, it was horrible for me. One, because I had to announce this to more than 250 staff. So, you know, I didn't know how to justify that, you know, but I had to do it myself. Second, I had no clue what was going to happen. I have absolutely no visibility, you know, so we become a very vulnerable because we don't know. And when you're surrounded by question marks and doubts, it becomes very difficult to start thinking and make clarity of what you want to do and what you want to be. But then I went back to the reason I came to Mexico and the reason I joined this resort. So I began to understand, you know, what the purpose of our hotel is to redefine wellness. And also with the help of people like you, for example, that put together this, 20 minutes, 30 minutes live show webinars where people can learn from one another. It became so important because I started to listen, to watch webinars like this one, and I started to learn from other parts of the world, from Japan to India to Middle East, to Europe, Africa, and so on and so forth, what was going on around the world. And then I realized suddenly that I was not alone, first, and second, that if I focus on what I cannot manage, I will not be able to do anything. So I started to focus on what I can manage instead. And I started to manage myself, my behavior. I started to manage my feelings because I can do that. Everyone can do that. It's not so difficult. And everything started to become very clear to me. So there is one sentence that I keep using. People talk about there is light at the end of the tunnel, or we begin to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Actually, I would like to say that if we think that there is a tunnel, the light will become always further from us. Instead, we should think that there is no tunnel. There is absolutely nothing to worry about. We just need to take care of ourselves and others, respect the rules that have been given to us, which are 3 simple. Wear a mask, wash your hands, keep distance. It's as simple as this. If we keep these 3 rules on check every single day, every single time, nothing is going to happen, or at least the chances are very slim. But if we don't respect them, and then of course that's where. And then returning to the tunnel, we just need to get rid of the tunnel. And with the moment you get rid of this tunnel, there is only light. So there's nothing to worry about because everything will become very clear. And this is what exactly wellness and well-being is for me, is making things clear, feeling good by yourself so that you can make others feel good about themselves and what to do. So my mind became clearer. I became a better leader, a better person. I could think on my own feet without having to worry about too much. And things started to flow. Believe it or not, in the past 8 months, I worked harder, twice maybe, or even 3 times as harder as before. But what I did in this extra time, that obviously during the closure or low occupancy of the hotel, I began to network with new people in the industry, and perhaps from within the same industry, but different branches of the industry, particularly in the wellness industry, by the way. And I began to invest some of my time to non-profit organization, actually 3 in particular. One is the GSN Planet, which is a Green Spa Network in short. Green Spa Network is a non-profit organization that helps wellness companies to become sustainable. So we help them to provide with tools and network to companies that they can provide products that they are friendly to the planet, and as well as guidelines that they can help them to become more sustainable. The second one is Hoteliers Guild. Again, is another non-profit organization that is basically like an association of hoteliers that like to play their part in a sustainable tourism. And the last but not the least is the World Wellness Weekend, which is a yearly event that just happened last weekend, last Saturday and Sunday, last week, where venues around the world provide their services and products for free. So people can learn about wellness without paying a single penny, a single dollar, and they can join these hotels, spa, salon, an area where you can do your manicure and pedicure, free classes, fitness, yoga, everything is free for 2 days, for 48 hours. So by investing this time to them and providing this knowledge that I have, as well as the connection. When you help others, you actually help yourself too. That's another rule, for example, of well-being. You know, do something for others, and you will see karma works perfectly. And there's no secret there. And if you do good, the good will come back to you automatically. Yeah. And basically, this is how I feel now. I feel very serene. No matter what is going to happen, I'm very under control. You know, I know that things will get better, you know, eventually. It's just a matter of time now. But I feel very, very serene, no matter what the situation around me is. And if we don't have this serenity, then it's going to be difficult to manage people and to manage a business and to manage others. That's what I can say.
I was going to say, because one of the biggest things I can imagine for somebody in your position as a general manager within a hotel, and as you said, something like 250 staff, I can imagine with a leader that is preoccupied with the stressing and the anxieties that come with the industry the way it is right now, the market the way it is right now, having to go through a process of having to tell everybody, look, we've got to close and we're not going to be able to do anything about that. But for you to be able to take the mindset of having this serene approach, this peaceful mindset, I suppose, I can imagine that it's had nothing but a positive effect, not only on your, I suppose, leadership, but also on the people that you are leading as well.
Totally. And another thing is, you know, some people, they obviously say, you know, to meditate or to do yoga, to do some kind of physical activity. Everybody is different. You know, there is no specific rules on what you have or you can or cannot do. Just find something that make you focus on yourself, that 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour a day, whatever that is. That can be reading, can be watching a webinar on YouTube, or can be doing some yoga, or can be doing some meditation. Find something that is your time, okay? And the moment you find your inner peace in that 20 or 30 minutes, for example, I choose to do every day, whether it is walking or some fitness class or running, minimum 15 to 20 minutes every single day, whether it's in the morning or it's at the end of my day. And that is pure medicine. It's free of charge. You don't have to pay nothing. And it's unbelievable. The results are unbelievable. So it works on me at least, and I know it works in many other people. So I know it's not just pure chance. It's not just invention. It really does work. So I hope that the people that they're listening, they will take action today, you know, and don't feel the depression. The moment depression kicks in, comes in, it's very difficult to get out. Sometimes also as a leader, what we need to do is just lend a shoulder. That's all we need to do. People, they just want to have somebody to listen to them, not to criticize, not to say something, just listen. And this is already a big deal for a lot of people, that they don't have this comfort at the moment.
The other thing I'd say as well is the stresses that, you know, they've sort of got their work life, but of course they have to go home. They have to deal with their sort of home life, the stresses that they're getting. And I suppose if they do have a leader that they can lean on, or they can have somebody listen to them or vent to and all the rest of it without having that judgment involved, I think now more than ever, that's such an important trait in leadership. And I think it's something that a lot of the time can actually be overlooked. I don't know what your thoughts are, but that's certainly something I'd say.
We are, in hospitality, we are the best people in people, in managing people. If we are not able to do that, then we should not work in hospitality. I think we should change our industry. What I can say though is that, and I hope that the people that are listening to this is, it's very important that they don't take it as an accusation. You know, I hear and I read a lot of posts on social media, various social medias that I follow, that, you know, they've done so many applications and nobody answered to me. And well, it is normal that nobody answered to you. There are millions and millions and millions of people around the world without a job. So imagine all the HR department, how many millions of emails that they receive every single day. So imagine that everybody should answer every single one. It's just impossible. Impossible. So the only way to go is to keep doing it. You know, one of the things I say to students, for example, when I do some online classes with the hotel school student, I tell them every year, Hotels Magazine, which is one of the most regarded magazine in the hospitality industry, gets out the top 325 hotels group, the biggest 325 hotels groups in the world. So I tell them, imagine you work for each one of them once a year. Okay, so you have 325 choice to work 1 month in each one of them. Okay, fine. So I have 12 months already covered. Sorry, 325 days covered. Now, take one for 1 month, you have 325 months. Take one company per year, you have 325 years. Take each hotel that each company manage, and you have millions of hotels around the world, millions, probably maybe 2 million of hotels around the world that they are only based in 325 companies. So you have millions of opportunities out there waiting for you. But if we stop to 100 or 200 or 300 or 500 or even 1,000 applications, that's when we think that we have done enough. Sorry, we have not even scratched the surface of doing job application. So something, for example, I added to this is when I look for a job in a normal situation, I send out between 300 and 400 applications to find one job.
Right.
In good time, normal time. Imagine now how many more you need to send. So when people get disappointed that they get no answer, and they probably have sent already 200 applications and they got nothing, well, sorry, you have another 2 more million to go. Until you finish this 2 million, then we can talk about.
Yeah, I think, yes, you're right. I don't know, I've lost count how many emails and messages and calls and everything else that I've been having over the last few months with, as you say, so many candidates, unfortunately, on the job market right now. And I do think that it's one of these funny things as well. I do believe that a lot of people quantify the success of their day on a job hunt with how many they have applied for, how many they've simply clicked the apply button on. And I always argue the point of saying, well, that's fine. You've pressed that click apply. You've pressed that button. Fantastic. But have you connected with the hiring manager? Have you tried to call? Have you tried
Bingo.
And I think it's one of these sort of next steps that I think people are just so out of touch with, because I think the human element of the job search is sort of a thing of the past, which is almost a shame, because how in hospitality we are so personable. We are people driven. Yet the only thing we ever see is a white background with a black writing on it. And it's very difficult at times to be able to engage who this person is. What do they love? What do they hate? What drives them? What motivates them? And again, it's all well and good putting it in black and white, but why not try and give them a call? Why not try and take that next step? So I do think that the quantifiable evidence of your day should never be, oh, by the way, I applied for 60 jobs today. Okay, well, pick 5 of them and call them. Pick 10 of them and email them. That's always been my sort of pushback, is if you're looking for a job now, take that extra step. Take that extra 3 steps, because I guarantee you, if you're in that stack of 60, 70, 300, 400 CVs, how much success are you really expecting to get?
Totally. And it's exactly like on a LinkedIn post, right? Interested.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing. Yeah. I'm interested.
Yeah.
Okay, me too. And then so another 500,000 people interested. But what are you doing different than other people?
Completely.
What is your CV look like today to speak up by itself and be seen immediately out of the 300 or 400 applicants? What else are you doing? What is the extra mile? In our industry, we are very famous to go the extra mile. Yeah. So it's exactly the same thing in job hunting. What is the extra mile are you doing in order to job hunt in today's situation? Yeah. Imagine in normal situation, we still need to go the extra mile. You need to perform very well at the interview. You have to have a perfect, when I say perfect CV, I mean it. Yeah. It has to be perfect. because otherwise it's going to be another CV, you know. And when the moment the person that read a CV sees one mistake, you're already out.
Yeah.
And all the picture or poorly taken pictures already out. I don't want to talk to that guy.
Yeah.
If there is inconsistency in the experience, out.
Yeah.
And so many more I can say, you know. But I receive dozens of CVs every day myself, and I see how poorly done they are. Now, no wonder they don't even get to the interview level. No wonder.
Well, do you know what? I launched something very recently. I don't know if you've seen it yet on social media, but it's basically a platform. It's another video that runs alongside these types of interviews, but it's directed at candidates that are on the market right now. So it's all around giving them a platform, giving them a voice, and allowing them to be able to try and gain engagement from potential employers, but other people on the market, and to build that sort of forum and connectivity between a lot of different people that they may not have got in front of before. And it's all based around allowing the candidates to say, well, this is my experience, this is what I've done, this is what I'm passionate about. And then it also lets them sort of talk about what's been keeping them motivated during the pandemic. Have they been doing courses? Because I think the problem is that a lot of businesses right now and a lot of agencies like myself, we're able to talk about the industry. We're able to give our sort of, 10 cents, if you like, or 2 pence, as we say over here. But we're not actually hearing from the people on the market. So I basically created this opportunity for candidates to be able to say what they've got going on. And the response has been incredible. So I applaud any of the candidates that are watching this right now, because you've sort of taken the next step. Rather than just applying, you've actually taken the step to get in front of a camera, talk about yourself, which for a lot of people can be quite daunting. Not everybody loves being in front of the camera, and not a lot of people are actually that good at selling themselves. That in itself, it takes a bit of practice. I mean, we both know now, Rocco, you've already sort of appeared on a few things and you're well versed in this, but a lot of people aren't.
True, but you need to start somewhere. If you never stop, you never know. So I remember my first presentation in front of an audience. I remember I was a student at the Westminster College. I was studying hospitality management some 20 odd years ago in London, and everybody had to do a presentation. So 20 years ago, the tools to do presentation in front of an audience were completely different than today. However, I found my way to impress my audience. It was a little trick, but it did make an impact. Okay. And if you make no impact, then you become just a normal average speaker. So you definitely now have to multiply 10 times more the effort. Particularly during this time, you have to be on top of everything. Otherwise, there are so much happening out there, and the confusion is even more. Actually, recruiters, they will probably work more now than they will work before, because imagine one HR manager will receive hundreds and hundreds of applicants daily, when a headhunter or a recruiter already has selection of people. On a click of a button, say, okay, you need whatever, a general manager with this experience, bang, okay, I've got for you 3 people. You don't have to waste your time.
Yeah, it's an odd one, because at the moment in recruitment anyway, there's very much a case of having to throw the rule book out the window and reassess exactly how you're doing things. And it's just you've got to reset your mindset. Like you were saying, sort of take a step back, understand what the differences are in the market, change your mindset, and go in with a completely different approach. Because I think anybody that's just sort of calling their clients saying, hey, have you got any jobs? Hey, have you got any jobs? In a market like this, which is incredibly sensitive because of obviously so many redundancies, so many closures, you've got GMs, or you've got operational managers or directors in terms of different functions. They're sort of looking at this recruiter and going, did you really just ask me if I've got jobs right now? Or, or the recruitment manager saying, I'm hopefully keeping my job, for goodness sake, let alone trying to find anybody else. So we are having to take a very different sort of tack to it, or at least my business has, but we've still been recruiting throughout the pandemic. and the UK market has taken a massive hit, but we're still here. We're still doing our thing. And, you know, just last week we got an offer on the table, and thankfully the candidate accepted. Both the business and the candidate were very happy, and hopefully we're going to have that again either tomorrow or next week. Obviously,
great news.
Might be relevant to when this actually video goes out, but still, I suppose we've touched on the candidate side, and we've touched on sort of wellness and your leadership side of things. What advice would you give to anybody, or our audience and anybody watching at the moment? What advice would you give to them in terms of trying to improve their business or improve what they're doing right now? What advice would you give to them?
Well, certainly one thing, you know, and that's nothing new, but, you know, other people already wrote books about it, but think about what got you beginning in what you're doing today. You know, if that purpose remains, then you should continue. You should not give up. You should continue to work towards whatever the vision was the day you began to work in that business. So whether it's your own business, that you started your own business because you wanted to create the best restaurant in the world, and then that was your mission, keep working towards it. Don't give up, because the moment you give up, there may be years and years of dreaming and thinking about and putting so much hours and effort in it that now it's all lost. So that would be a shame. If you have an existing business and you have already very clear purpose for that business, keep talking about to your audience. You know, a luxury hotel cannot suddenly become an all-inclusive hotel, you know, going there for $100 a night and offering buffet for everybody. If the purpose of and the values of a company where certain type of values, keep talking about them to your client, to your audience, to your business partners. And that's what we've been doing. We've been talking as if the hotel never closed down. We've been doing activities as the hotel never ceased operation. And the moment we reopened, it was natural, you know, from closing door to opening door was very natural. And yes, it was difficult the first months, because as I said, the occupancy was very low, but second month double, the third month better, and the fourth month we're already doing better than last year, imagine. Right. So, you know, what can I say? If you keep doing what you believe is correct, then things they're going to work.
Definitely. I think it's a case as well. I think there's so much doom and gloom right now, and a bit of positivity, getting rid of that tunnel, allowing yourself to just focus on the light rather than the confines of the tunnel, as you said before. It might just give people that breath of fresh air. So no, I hope that our audience are going to sort of take that in and see what they do with that, I suppose. And of course, you know, it'd be good to know what's been going on with you guys. I mean, in terms of Chable and what's been going on with you guys at the moment. Anything new? Anything exciting?
Yes, totally. Actually, we're opening a new hotel at the end of this year or January next year. So it's a small boutique hotel, 10 rooms only, beautiful in the middle of nature, beautiful beach. You know, there is like over nearly 10 kilometers of pristine beach in front of it. Yeah. And we're very, very excited about that, because this will be another standard hotel. Right. At the moment it's under renovation, so it will take another couple of months before we can announce the exact date of opening. So we are aiming for prior to Christmas, but we don't know just yet if this is going to happen. And the company is, although it's very small, you know, at the moment like 3 hotels only confirmed, but we have a few more in the pipeline, but this will be at least another 2 years away from now. And on the front of Chable Yucatan, we were planning to build actually 10 villas for sale, you know, like a real estate component that, you know, can be part of the project. Due to the situation, we have to focus our resources and finances, obviously, on the new hotel that is more important, more urgent at the moment. But the hotel is doing fine as it is now. So I think that for the moment, it's not really urgent to invest so much more. One thing that definitely is going to happen this year, most probably, is going to be a solar farm. So we wanted to be as sustainable as possible, or self-sufficient as possible, so that we don't have to get energy from the grid. We can actually sell to the grid and then use what we need for ourselves. That's the major plan for this year. And now we're just preparing for the festive season, because in a couple of months it's Christmas. So, you know, we hope to be as busy as last year. Last year was a great Christmas. We had the hotel full throughout, you know, Christmas and New Year's Eve. So we are hoping again to focusing obviously on the national market first, because that's where we think our business mainly is going to come from. And we already have a full program, you know, it's like a 2 weeks program already, which will go in the mailbox of all our mailing list in the next week or so. So at least the guests already, they know what to expect over Christmas and New Year's Eve in terms of activities. And we look forward to welcome our guests. I mean, we are very well prepared in terms of all the health and safety measures, you know, to make sure that our guests will feel comfortable and ease at ease, you know, in the comfort of the room, or if they want to go around. The resort is perfect for this kind of situation, for self-isolation, or if they want to be, you know, in public area but with not so many people. Even at full occupancy, our hotel can only have 100 guests at most. So imagine 50 acres for 100 people. It's you have, you know, 1 kilometer distance for each person. So I think we will be the perfect venue for those seekers of safety and security.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds like you've got some exciting times coming, which is great, with obviously the new opening. Of course, as you said, the holiday season. So hopefully that ramps up some business there. So no, it sounds like you've got some great stuff coming, which is great to hear, to be honest.
Thank you.
Well, Rocco, I just want to say a massive thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. It's been an absolute pleasure, especially talking about certain topics about wellness, certain topics about well-being and sustainability within properties as well, because I do believe that that's another massive talking point right now across the world. So no, I'm sure that our audience is going to love watching this episode. And guys, please do comment down below. Tell us what you think of this episode. Rocco, thank you so much for taking the time.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Thomas.
Guys, make sure you look at who's on next week's episode now.